Good morning and welcome to the annual UCSD Rady School of Management Master of Professional Accountancy Capstone Conference. I am Jim Diak, the Executive Director of the Master of Professional Accountancy program. I am joined by my esteemed colleagues, Anya Marie Schindler and Bonnie Huang, who are both MBA candidates set to graduate in just a few days. Anya, Bonnie, and I have had the privilege of working with these talented young professionals as they've developed their capstone projects, conducted in-depth research, and prepared for today's presentations. We are delighted to have you here at this year's conference, where we take a straightforward, no-nonsense approach to the realities of board leadership during times of crisis. We aim to provide practical insights and strategies for navigating challenging situations with confidence and resilience. Our conference theme is centered around equipping and empowering boards to tackle challenges head-on from within the eye of the storm. In today's rapidly changing environment, crises arise swiftly and unexpectedly. Boards often find themselves in the midst of these storms, unable to simply wait them out. They must make tough decisions in real time, standing firm in the face of adversity and demonstrating resilient leadership. Before we begin this presentation, we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our partners at Deloitte, EY, KPMG, PwC, RSM, Moss Adams, the SEC, DoorDash, Intuit, and many others for their unwavering support over this past year for our program here at UCSD Rady. Our faculty, lecturers, and external speakers have collectively encouraged our students to tackle complex, board-relevant issues. We are truly fortunate to have a passionate team of friends and colleagues who have inspired our students to take on these challenges, creating a memorable experience for us all. As we embark on today's presentations, we encourage you to close out your other applications, put on some high-quality headphones, and immerse yourself in the upcoming conversation. Let's dive in and learn how to navigate right through the eye of the storm. Welcome to the 2024 Capstone Conference. Our first panel will be taking on the topic Navigating Climate Disclosure Requirements Using Artificial Intelligence Solutions. I saw an article in Reuters just a few weeks ago where I learned that central bankers around the world will be using AI to collect data to assess climate-related financial risks due to the volume of disclosures from banks and other companies that are setting to arise. This panel will explore the impact of climate regulations on businesses, focusing on how AI can help manage these risks and comply with stringent reporting requirements. It will offer a practical guide on leveraging new technologies to meet these evolving standards. At this time, I am so very delighted to welcome Kyle Layson to our virtual stage at Rady School of Management. Kyle will be facilitating this morning's presentation with his colleagues. Kyle, the stage is now yours.
Thank you, Jim. Welcome. Good morning, everyone, to our presentation on navigating climate disclosure requirements with artificial intelligence. We are so excited to share our insights and findings with you today. So again, my name is Kyle, and I am joined by my 5 brilliant and wonderful colleagues from the Masters of Professional Accountancy program at UC San Diego. I've had the pleasure to work with this mix of very talented students. Some have prior professional experience, specifically within the accounting field, and many have already accepted offers from accounting firms post-graduation. So we have for you a very bright team of hardworking graduate students. Now that you know a little bit about us, let's see what we will be covering today. Our agenda includes setting the stage for climate-related disclosure requirements, detailed exploration of regulatory environments in the US, more specifically California, and the EU, key metrics for reporting and the challenges companies face, how AI is revolutionizing ESG reporting and mitigating common issues, and then we will summarize key takeaways and looking ahead to the future of climate disclosure. Let's start by looking at the current state of sustainability reporting. So traditionally, companies have been reporting on areas like carbon footprint, energy use, waste management, water use, and biodiversity. But things are quickly changing. We're seeing new and stricter regulations that are being introduced worldwide. There's an increased emphasis on reporting indirect emissions, so think Scope 3, from the entire supply chain. There are new technologies like artificial intelligence that are making reporting more accurate and efficient. And then there's an overall stronger push for genuine transparency and accountability to avoid misleading claims. That's that greenwashing problem. So why is ESG so important to company boards? We wanted to share two very interesting articles to bring to your attention. The first article, titled Accounting for Climate Change from the Harvard Business Review, advocates for a more targeted and auditable approach to ESG reporting. The article highlights the importance of accurate metrics, accountability, and the adoption of innovative solutions like e-liability accounting to address the flaws in current reporting standards. The second article, ESG Matters: Why the Board Needs to Be Involved, underscores the impact of ESG on companies with proactive and complacent approaches. The article emphasizes the need for boards to mitigate risk and enhance long-term value creation by integrating ESG considerations into decision-making processes. So integrating ESG into strategic planning and oversight is essential for boards to navigate this changing landscape effectively. Now let's take a quick look at what ESG involves. So E stands for environmental. This covers the company's impact on the planet, including carbon footprint, resource usage, and waste management. S stands for social. This involves how the company treats its employees, communities, and stakeholders, focusing on diversity, fair labor practices, and human rights. And last but not least, G stands for governance. This relates to the company's management structures, transparency, and ethical behavior, including board diversity, executive compensation, and anti-corruption policies. So with that brief introduction, I am excited to kick off the content of our presentation by introducing my colleague Juliet, who will help guide you through those climate-related disclosures.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Juliet. I'm going to talk about climate change regulations that companies around the world now have to follow. These rules are changing how businesses work and report their activities. We will look at how companies are dealing with these regulations in three main areas: the United States, the European Union, and California. It's really important to understand the landscape of climate-related disclosures in the United States, especially given the uncertainty around the Securities and Exchange Commission's rules. The SEC wants companies to share information about their climate risks and impacts to be transparent and accountable, but there's still debate about exactly what needs to be reported. Climate change regulations are constantly changing, and different regions have different rules. This makes hard for the SECs to decide on one clear standard. Companies have to deal with a mix of regulations, which can lead to inconsistent reporting. Despite these challenges, companies are starting to see the values in being open and their climate-related information. Investors, stakeholders, and consumers want more transparency about environmental risks and sustainability efforts. As a result, many companies are investing in sustainability projects and renewable energy to show they care about environment and long-term value. For example, Johnson & Johnson has set sustainability goals for 2024, aiming to use 100% renewable electricity by 2025 and achieve net zero emissions by 2045. By aligning their business strategies with environmental goals, companies like Johnson & Johnson can reduce climate risks and grow in a market that values environmental responsibility. However, because the SEC guidelines are still unclear, it's crucial for companies to take the lead in sharing their climate-related information, showing they are responsible and proactive despite the uncertainty. Next, we will talk about the European Union's climate objectives. The EU is leading the way in addressing climate change through the European Green Deal. The plan aims to, first, achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Second, reduce emissions by 55% by 2030. Lastly, promote economic growth that relies on sustainable resource use. The European Green Deal is a set of laws and policies that impact many businesses, including large American companies operating in the EU. These companies need to track and report their environmental impact, such as greenhouse gas emissions, energy consumption, and use of renewable energy. Following these rules is essential for businesses to show their commitment to sustainability and meet EU standards. The European Green Deal focuses on several key areas to effectively address climate risks. The first one is governance. It ensures accountability and transparency in environmental efforts. The second one is stakeholder empowerment, which encourages collaboration and innovation among businesses and the public. The next one is policy optimization, which improves regulations to maximize environmental benefits while minimizing negative impacts on businesses. Financing is the last one. It provides financial support for sustainable practices and technologies, such as through the Next Generation EU Recovery Plan. The plan is the financial support for green projects. By focusing on these elements, the EU aims to lead the world in sustainability efforts. So let's take a look at what's happening in California regarding climate laws. There's a big focus on it right now. They got these laws, such as the Climate Corporate Data Accountability Act, which is SB 253, and the Climate Related Financial Risk Act, which is SB 261. These laws are about making companies tell everyone about their greenhouse gas emissions and any financial risks related to climate stuff. They're really paying attention to what's called Scope 3 reporting, which means looking at all the greenhouse gas emissions connected to the company whole supply chain. Now, who's keeping an eye on all this? It's the California Air Resources Board, making sure everyone is following the rules. What's interesting is how companies are reacting. Many are stepping up their game, trying harder to cut down on their carbon footprint. They're investing in things like renewable energy and changing how they do things to meet these new strict reporting standards. As for the Climate-Related Financial Risk Act, it came into play because people are realizing climate change can mess with the economy. It's all about making sure companies are open about any climate-related risks they face, and it connects with what the SEC is doing, pushing for companies to be more transparent and climate matters to help investors make informed decisions. And Scope 3 reporting is about measuring and reporting all the indirect greenhouse gas emissions a company is responsible for. That includes things like what companies buy, how they transport things, and even how their products are used. Understanding these new regulations is important because they affect thousands of companies. These companies need to follow guidelines for greenhouse gas emissions and be ready for audits. Taking action now is essential to keep up with changing SEC rules and global standards, helping companies handle the regulatory environmental smoothly. In short, these regulations require companies to review climate risks and reduce financial impacts. The main message is simple. Transparency and resilience are crucial in today's business world. Let's get ready for these regulatory changes and align with new standards to build a sustainable future.
Juliet, that was a lot of important and wonderful information that you just covered about those regulations. Could you please briefly describe for our audience what general trends are emerging in these recent climate disclosure regulations?
Yes. The big thing is that governments are really pushing companies to be more open and transparent about their impact on the environment. They want the companies to report not just their direct greenhouse gas emissions, but also indirect ones from their entire supply chain. That's what's called Scope 3 reporting. And another trend is these regulations are trying to make companies think about how climate change could affect their finances. So they're asking companies to disclose any financial risks they might face because of climate change. The idea is to give investors a clear picture of how a company's future might be impacted by environmental issues.
I see. Thank you very much, Juliet.
Yes.
Now, Amber will go more into depth about what these climate reporting metrics are.
As businesses increasingly recognize the urgency of addressing climate change, reporting frameworks have emerged to help organizations disclose their environmental impacts and risks. Reporting frameworks provide guidelines for disclosing climate-related information. These frameworks include the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosure recommendations, the Greenhouse Gas Protocol, and others. One common element across reporting framework is the disclosure of greenhouse gas emissions. These emissions are categorized into scopes 1, 2, and 3, reflecting direct and indirect emissions from an organization's activities. Climate-related risks pose significant business challenges, impacting assets, operations, and long-term strategies. These risks include physical risks such as sea level rise and transition risks such as carbon pricing. I've seen how coastal businesses are grappling with the reality of rising sea levels, necessitating costly infrastructure adaptations. In addition, the increased frequency and severity of storms have disrupted operations, highlight the urgent need for robust risk management strategies. Take a moment to consider how the implementation of carbon pricing might affect your business operations and long-term planning. In California, regulatory bodies like the California Air Resources Board oversee climate reporting requirements. Companies are mandated to disclose their GHG emissions and climate-related financial risk. This includes policy and legal risk, technological risk, market risk, and reputational risk. California enacted two groundbreaking bills, the Climate Corporate Data Accountability Act and the Climate-Related Financial Risk Act. Under SB 253, California sets the stage for the most stringent corporate emissions disclosure requirements in the U.S. This law mandates that certain U.S. companies disclose their greenhouse gas emissions, surpassing even the proposed rules by the Securities and Exchange Commission. All U.S. companies, public or private, with over $1 billion in annual revenue conducting business in California. These companies, numbering more than 5,000, face the monumental task of disclosing emissions from scopes 1, 2, and 3 sources. While scope 1 and 2 emission reporting kicks off in 2026, scope 3 emission disclosure commences in 2027. Scope 3 emissions, often the most complex, entail a broad spectrum of indirect emission across a company's value chain, encompassing activities like waste generation, business travel, and employee commuting. Compliance demands adherence to the Greenhouse Gas Protocol standards and entail annual disclosures on publicly accessible websites, accompanied by third-party assurance engagements. Meanwhile, SB 261 mandates certain U.S. companies with over $500 million in annual revenue to disclose their climate-related financial risk and mitigation measures. This requirement, applicable to both public and private entities, underscores California's commitment to financial transparency in the face of climate change. Companies must adhere to the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures frameworks or equivalent standards in preparing these reports. The law, affecting over 10,000 companies, seeks to illuminate the material risk posed by climate change to financial outcomes, encompassing aspects like corporate operations, supply chains, and financial investments. Amidst the compliance burdens lie opportunities for innovation and resilience. Transition risks, such as policy changes and technological disruptions, compel companies to adapt and embrace sustainability-driven strategies. Similarly, physical risk underscore the imperative for robust resilience measure. Yet, with these challenges lie opportunities for resource efficiency, market expansion, and enhanced stakeholder engagement. By integrating climate considerations into their operations, companies can not only mitigate risk, but also unlock new avenues for growth and value creation.
Amber, it seems like the focus right now is on Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions. Can you explain to us why measuring Scope 3 emissions is particularly challenging?
Yeah, sure. So companies often face difficulties obtaining reliable data from these diverse and numerous entities, compounded by variability in data quality and lack of standardization. And the process requires significant collaboration across the entire value chain, advanced technological tools, and adherence to evolving regulatory frameworks, making accurate measurement and reporting a resource-intensive and intricate task.
Okay, thank you so much, Amber. On the topic of challenges, Maddie will go over navigating these challenge areas in ESG reporting.
Hi, thank you, Kyle, and good morning, everyone. So like Kyle said, I'm going to touch on a couple of the challenges that are confronting businesses in their efforts to comply with climate disclosure regulations. As these regulatory efforts evolve, companies are facing a number of challenges and a lot of questions about reporting and maintaining compliance. Among these challenges, first and foremost, is the task of accessing, collecting, and analyzing the appropriate data. Companies are going to have to source, verify, and aggregate vast amounts of data related to greenhouse gas emissions, energy consumption, risk, and other environmental metrics. Then, once they've accumulated all that data, they're going to have to analyze it with very little historical standards available to guide them. Compliance costs are also a primary concern as companies strive to meet regulatory requirements while also maintaining financial sustainability. From investing in data collection systems to hiring specialized personnel and navigating regulatory mandates, the cost of ensuring compliance with new regulations is going to be a massive undertaking, especially for those smaller and medium-sized enterprises. In addition to concerns about implementation costs, there's also some uncertainty about the current and future regulatory landscape. Regulations like we've seen so far are rapidly evolving. Take, for example, those we discussed earlier today in California, the SEC, which is still kind of being finalized, and the EU as well. This necessitates agility and innovation in reporting practices to ensure continued compliance. Plus, despite increased efforts for transparency, we're still seeing a lot of potential for greenwashing. Any kind of misrepresentation or aggregation, exaggeration of environmental data undermines trust and credibility in climate reporting efforts. So companies are going to remain hypervigilant in upholding integrity and accuracy in their disclosures in order to mitigate those risks of greenwashing. Assurance mechanisms also play a crucial role in validating the reliability of climate disclosures. Currently, this EU's CSRD only requires independent assurance for larger companies' sustainability reports, and California's climate bills require various levels of assurance for different GHG emission scopes. So these limited assurance requirements kind of call into question the reliability of the data for investors and other stakeholders. So as businesses navigate these challenges, they're going to have to prioritize transparency, accuracy, and integrity in their reporting practices to really drive meaningful progress towards sustainability. So let's talk a little bit about how companies can start to tackle those challenges. First, as we delve deeper into these complexities of climate reporting, we're seeing some commonalities in stakeholders' responses to the emerging regulations. At this stage, it's clear that the current reporting standards necessitate further development in enhanced data sharing mechanisms, continued standardization efforts, and clear enforcement of existing regulations. At the implementation stage, when companies begin to design controls and identify climate-related metrics, they'll need to prioritize those that are not only relevant and understandable, but also verifiable. And this becomes quite a bit of a challenge for the Scope 3 emissions like we've touched on earlier. So selecting metrics that align with the organization's objectives and risk management processes is essential for driving informed decision-making and fostering alignment with broader climate-related strategies and regulations. Moving forward, designing and implementing robust, forward-looking processes will be critical to long-term success in climate reporting, especially as regulation continues to evolve. Embracing innovative technologies like artificial intelligence can significantly enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of data collection and reporting processes. As we'll see later in this presentation, AI-driven solutions can streamline data collection and analytics, improve accuracy, provide deeper insights into environmental performance, assist with reporting, and ultimately help companies maintain compliance with regulatory requirements.
Maddie, before we move on to the exciting discussion of AI, just based on your research, what seems to be the most difficult challenge to overcome in ESG reporting?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think where we are right now, standardization is still a fairly large question mark for companies. Until there's consistency in how companies are gathering and analyzing data, and they're being given more guidance there, it's going to be very hard to actually be able to compare what companies are reporting to their industry peers. So that's kind of at the forefront of the challenges at the moment.
Okay, very well put, Maddie. Thank you. Now we will transition into the AI portion of our presentation today. AI is revolutionizing ESG reporting by making it more efficient and accurate. Here are a few ways AI is making a difference. AI can handle huge amounts of environmental data, helping companies better understand climate risk, improve energy efficiency, and manage resources and waste more effectively. By forecasting the environmental impact of products throughout their life cycles, AI helps companies align their financial activities with sustainability goals. AI also has the ability to spot potential non-compliance with ESG standards early, providing indicators that help manage environmental risk proactively. On the right-hand side of your screen is an example of how AI is able to analyze the impact of a product life cycles using topography analysis. Implementing AI successfully in ESG reporting, however, requires a solid IT and data infrastructure. Here's what to focus on. The infrastructure needs to be capable of supporting AI applications, integrating data, and hosting AI architecture. Integrating APIs may be helpful to facilitate predictive modeling and trend analysis for ESG metrics too. Establishing a central platform for ESG data that integrates risk management systems and supports robust data models is also recommended. Tools like the AI ESG protocol can help companies systematically assess and disclose their AI capabilities. The protocol is very similar in structure to the COSO cube, where each operational activity is associated with a section of ESG and identified under scopes 1, 2, or 3. This protocol, alongside many other AI-related tools, enables continuous monitoring and analysis of ESG factors, allowing organizations to keep up to date with their ESG performance. This real-time analysis helps in quickly addressing any changes or emerging issues. A strong data governance model is also crucial for successful AI implementation in ESG reporting. First and foremost, as Maddie mentioned, developing a clear taxonomy for ESG data to ensure consistency and clarity is essential. Use of platforms like Altilia Intelligent Automation helps make AI more accessible for document processing and data handling. Here's a snapshot of what that looks like on the right-hand side of your screen. This platform, like many other platforms that are available, can handle complex document workflows, extracting key ESG data points accurately and efficiently. This reduces the manual effort involved in the data collection and ensures higher data quality. It is advisable to assign a dedicated team or specialized committee to oversee ESG data governance and ensure that data controls are in place and operating as intended. And last but not least, ensure that the governance model can adapt to the fast-paced changes in ESG trends like Maddie and Juliet described. AI also has implications in achieving net zero targets and addressing the greenwashing problem. For net zero models, AI can efficiently process large data sets, again using big data analytics and machine learning. This helps with how complex ESG data can be to analyze by hand. AI models are flexible, so they can adapt to changing emission patterns and specific industry needs. Advanced AI techniques provide precise forecasts for emissions and strategy outcomes, which helps balance economic and environmental goals by identifying cost-effective sustainability strategies. In terms of combating greenwashing, AI can use natural language processing, so think ChatGPT, for example, to detect vague or misleading terms in environmental claims. AI can also track environmental impacts throughout the supply chain to ensure and reinforce transparency. AI models apply consistent criteria for evaluating sustainability practices, which can help AI to adapt to various environmental standards, which offers a unified approach to assessments, which again, overall should reduce subjectivity. So with that out of the way, Eve will now go more into depth about how AI is being used.
Thanks, Kyle, and I will introduce AI's application of ESG reporting in more detail, including practical applications and case studies. So for practical applications, AI can improve ESG reporting in 3 areas. The first area is data collection and aggregation. That means AI can automate the collection and aggregation of vast amounts of ESG data from diverse sources. This includes automated web scraping, integration with IoT devices for real-time environmental monitoring, and also extracting relevant information from unstructured data sources, such as social media, news articles, and company reports. And for the second area, governance and transparency, I separate it into 3 parts. The first one is regulatory compliance. That means natural language processing can be used to scan and interpret regulatory documents and also updates automatically, ensuring that the reports align with the latest ESG compliance standards. And the second one is corporate governance. So AI can analyze corporate governance data to assess a company's ESG performance and identify areas for improvement. For example, a software platform, Datamaran, can help companies track ESG risks and opportunities, providing insights to improve their sustainability strategies. And the last one is monitoring and reporting. That means AI can help companies continue monitoring ESG factors, which can provide real-time alerts about potential deviations from set goals or standards. And this continuous monitoring enables quicker corrective actions, improving the overall reliability and timeliness of ESG reports. For the third area, report generation, AI can help the whole process. First, AI systems gather and organize data from diverse sources. This may involve transforming disparate data formats into a standardized form that can be analyzed and reported. And then AI can automate the generation of ESG reports by structuring data according to established frameworks. And one of the more advanced applications of AI in report generation is the creation of narrative sections of the reports. That means AI can summarize data findings into written explanations and insights, making the report more accessible to stakeholders. Besides, AI can also provide predictive insights and trend analysis. And this helps companies anticipate future challenges and opportunities in ESG aspects. Also, AI can automate the process of data validation and error checking, ensuring the accuracy of ESG reports. And now let's take a look at the case studies. The reason why I choose Accenture and the FIN is because both of them are recognized leaders in their respective fields. Accenture in consulting and technology services, and the FIN in financial communication and data services. And their adoption and integration of AI technologies in ESG reporting can serve as influential models for other organizations. So first, for Accenture, they have 360-degree value reporting experience. That means they use AI to gather and analyze data across various ESG frameworks, such as the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, and the World Economic Forum International Business Council to make sure their transparent disclosures align with global reporting standards. And the reporting covers 6 vital dimensions of value, including client, talent, inclusion and diversity, experience, sustainability, and financial, and allows stakeholders to assess the metrics. So the system improves transparency and accountability in ESG reporting by showcasing integrated and real-time insights. And for DFIN, their platform Active Disclosure automates the ESG reporting process by simplifying data collection and collaboration in real time. And this tool is designed to ensure compliance with the SEC's climate risk disclosures requirements, offering features like Excel and data linking for instantaneous updates. Additionally, DFIN leverages AI to provide insights that help companies make data-driven decisions, including benchmarking against peers to understand the impact of ESG on financial performance, and also navigating the evolving regulatory landscape with expert guidance. So these AI-enhanced tools and services facilitate a faster, more secure, and compliant ESG reporting process, making it easier for companies to meet their reporting obligations while focusing on strategic tasks.
Eve, these are 2 very great examples of AI in ESG reporting. Could you explain what makes researching case studies like these so valuable?
Yeah, of course. These case studies provide practical examples of how AI technologies are used in real-world scenarios. So by studying these leaders, other companies can benchmark their ESG practices against industry standards. And also, as I mentioned in the case studies, use of AI has some benefits like help identify ESG risks and opportunities, improve a company's strategic planning and decision-making abilities, and also improve the efficiency and accuracy of ESG reporting. So other companies can emulate Accenture and DFIN to use AI technology to improve their efficiency, accuracy, and also the compliance in the ESG reporting.
I see. Thank you, Eve. Now we will be shifting our discussion with Henry, who will be covering some very important information to consider regarding AI in ESG reporting.
Thank you, Kyle. I will discuss how AI enhances the core aspect of ESG reporting. AI uses sophisticated algorithms to automatically process and analyze vast amounts of data from various sources, including IoT devices, sensors, and online platforms. This capability allows for generation of accurate and comprehensive ESG reports much faster than traditional methods. By automating data analysis, AI minimizes human errors and ensure a higher standard of data integrity. This is crucial for businesses that rely on timely and precise data to make informed sustainability decisions. Now let's explore IBM's use of AI in energy management. IBM leverages AI to enhance energy efficiency across global facilities, showing a commitment to sustainability and operational efficiency. Firstly, IBM uses predictive analytics. AI algorithms analyze historical and real-time sensor data to predict peak energy usage and suggest optimal consumption pattern, reducing wastage and cost. Secondly, the AI system continuously scans for energy use pattern to identify inefficiencies. For instance, if a building shows a higher energy usage at certain times, AI can recommend HVAC adjustment or shutting down non-essential systems. Lastly, IBM's AI can make real-time automatic adjustments, integrate with building management system, in dynamically control lighting, heating, and air conditioning based on the real-time data, ensure optimal energy use. And let's delve into the challenges of implementing AI in ESG reporting. Firstly, ESG data is diverse, including both quantitative metrics like carbon emissions and quantitative assessment like labor practice. This diversity challenges traditional analysis methods. To address this, AI integrates diverse data into a unified analysis platform using machine learning and data fusion technologies, AI process varied information provide a holistic view of ESG performance. While AI offers solutions, it also introduced new challenges. One significant issue was algorithmic bias, which impact climate-related cost assessment in ESG reporting. And there are some key issues from biased AI models. AI models trained on historical data may underestimate risk from increased climate events. This leads to poorly planned infrastructure and disaster response strategies. Additionally, biased AI can misallocate resource. For example, underestimating flood risk may result in inadequate defense, while overestimating other risks can cause unnecessary spending. Furthermore, bias in AI models can lead to incorrect emission data, non-compliance with regulations, fines, and reputational damages. Then I will talk about how to mitigate bias in AI models. To prevent bias such as underestimating climate events, AI models must be trained on diverse and comprehensive datasets. This should cover a wide range of geographic location and climate conditions, ensure predictions are applicable globally and reflect current trends. Periodic audits are essential to identify and correct any bias, maintaining the accuracy of climate predictions. Involving stakeholders from various backgrounds in the AI development process enrich the models with diverse perspective, particularly from those most affected by climate changes. This collaboration enhanced the fairness and effectiveness of AI-driven climate strategies. Lastly, I will explore how AI systems are uniquely equipped to adapt to changing regulatory landscape in ESG reporting and the application of AI in regulatory technology within the financial sector. RegTech, or regulatory technology, is becoming increasingly crucial due to the complex and ever-changing regulatory environment in the financial sector. Financial institutions leverage AI-driven RegTech solutions not only to ensure adherence to international regulations, but also to streamline compliance process effectively. This AI system, equipped with advanced natural language processing capability, automatically updates and adapts to regulatory changes. This automation significantly reduced the reliance on manual updates and minimized compliance-related errors. By focusing on this AI-driven RegTech solution, we see how essential these technologies are in helping financial institutions not only comply with, but also stay ahead of regulatory requirements. This proactive approach helps safeguard against potential financial risk and penalties associated with non-compliance, ensure that institutions can maintain their operational integrity and reputational standing in a regulatory complex world.
Henry, I didn't know that training AI on historical data could be an issue. I was surprised to hear that. During your research, did anything surprise you? And if so, could you tell us about it?
Yeah, so one thing that subverted my expectation was the extent to which AI would create new challenges, particularly algorithmic bias. While I initially expect AI to be the perfect solution for improving the accuracy and efficiency of ESG reporting, I found that bias in AI models can lead to significant problems.
Okay, thank you, Henry, for the very important discussion about challenges in AI and how companies may be able to overcome them. So to wrap up, here are key takeaways from our discussion today. As Juliet mentioned, climate reporting regulations are constantly changing, making it essential to stay up to date. Being aware of what is being reported, like Amber described, will help companies be better prepared for changes in these regulations when they occur. Maddie really highlighted that when implementing controls, it's important to focus on clarity and consistency to ensure accurate and reliable reporting. I discussed the importance of having a dedicated team for ESG governance in order to have effective implementation and oversight over AI. We saw specific case studies covered by Eve about how implementing AI can significantly improve data collection and help ensure regulatory compliance, making the reporting process more efficient and accurate. And lastly, Henry's important discussion about being aware of common AI-related issues like biases and errors, and that it may be necessary for regular audits to occur to maintain accuracy and fairness. By focusing on these areas, companies can better navigate the complex landscape of climate disclosure requirements and move towards a more sustainable future. And with that, this will conclude our presentation today. Thank you all very much for your attention. We have been working very hard on this presentation, so I speak on the behalf of my colleagues that we are all grateful for those who have tuned in. I will be sending it back to our amazing director of the program, Jim Diot. And again, thank you all very much.
Kyle, you can tell that you've been working really hard, you and your colleagues. It was an outstanding presentation. I want to congratulate you, Kyle, Yingyi, Hengrui, Maddie, Amber, and Juliet for a wonderful conversation on this most important topic. Well, this concludes our webinar. We appreciate everyone who joined us and hope you found the presentation to be as valuable as I did. For those who may have missed a portion or wish to revisit the content, this webinar will be available on the on-demand replay on the Rady's YouTube channel for the MPAC program. If you're interested in the presentation materials, please contact us at Rady and we'll be happy to share them with you. On behalf of our students, faculty, and everyone at the Rady School of Management, thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you at future events. Take care now.